everyone, welcome to this update video this morning. So we're going to be talking about these 4 highlighted areas to watch for potential development over the course of the next couple of days. Now, one of the main areas that we want to focus on is that spot marked in the Gulf and parts of the Caribbean as well. So an airflow pressure will be forming as we head into the new week, and thereafter is likely to develop in the Gulf and could intensify into an eventual hurricane. So we'll be looking at what models are forecasting. We'll be taking a look at the short-term forecast for the Caribbean in terms of rainfall activity and these other 3 yellow spots on the map. So let's quickly kickstart with those. Now, straight away, both of these areas here are given 10% chances to develop. So that one associated with the remnants of Gordon, and that other is another airflow pressure around. So those are not expected to intensify in the coming days. We'll see what happens though, but this is a new spot. It was highlighted early this morning in this 1 a.m. update. So we could see a tropical wave emerge off the African coast and eventually try to get itself together as it heads to the west, generally westward, maybe a bit to the west-northwest. We'll see how that goes, but I've been seeing models hinting at a tropical wave approaching the Caribbean, but we'll see how the trajectory would be for the system. So this is all going to be dependent on the area of high pressure out there. So stronger high will allow more of these systems to trot west. A weaker high will allow them to curve up and out and not be a bother for the Caribbean. So time will tell in terms of that, but as I said, this area here is what we really want to focus our attention on for the short term for now, because even though yes, we may see development even during the process of actually having that airflow pressure form, there's likely to be that significant flood threat, especially for Central America. So as of right now, the National Hurricane Center designates a 60% chance of formation for that airflow pressure once it forms within this area. Most of the models are showing that by the mid to latter part of next week is when we will really see it getting itself together in the Gulf. And of course, with that airflow pressure forming and interacting a lot with land, that would put a little bit of a halt on development. But the downside is the plethora of rainfall that it would unleash. So let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite imagery. This is what it's looking like out there on the infrared satellite. So we've got that those 2 disturbances, that one associated with Gordon's remnants and that other airflow pressure. We don't have that other tropical wave coming off of Africa just yet, but we do see a lot of showers and thunderstorms around the vicinity of the Bahamas and near the Turks and Caicos Islands as well. And then as we zoom into the Caribbean even more, we can see all these bursts of convection. So we have lots of moisture and instability around Central America. It's going to be another wet day for many. So as we speak, let's go ahead and look at the rainfall forecast here, and we've got it. So the more color we see indicates more rainfall activity. So we can see some spots of these darker or more vibrant shadings of reds, and even those burgundies and purples and pinks popping up. Very high rain totals in parts of Nicaragua and southwestern Honduras today, possibly even for sections of Costa Rica, Panama, and even down into Colombia, where we see some of those more vibrant shadings as well. So generally around for Central America, for many areas, there's likely to be rainfall amounts beyond an inch today. And because of all of the rain that has been experienced in the area, this could create a favorable environment for flooding to take place, because the soil is very saturated. So with a lot more rain on rain over the coming days, that is going to create a likelihood of flooding. And so if you should encounter any floodwaters, regardless of this incidence of a lot of rain in Central America, just overall, once you encounter floodwaters, turn around, don't drown, don't attempt to drive through flooded roadways or cross flooded bridges. So it's important that we take these necessary precautions to protect life as best as possible. As we look elsewhere in the Caribbean, going to the Greater Antilles, Cuba, parts of Jamaica, Hispaniola, there'll be some showers and thunderstorms today, especially as we head into the afternoon. Not as much action for the Cayman Islands, but there could be some showers around, no doubt. Up to the Bahamas, we saw earlier that there is some convection around. So showers, thunderstorms this morning, so there could be some additional downpours today. As we head to Puerto Rico, though, not as much activity. Virgin Islands, couple showers may move through. Same thing for the Leeward Islands, Anguilla through Dominica. Then for Martinique, southward through Grenada, including Trinidad, Tobago, Barbados, it's likely to be a pretty hot day today. Perfect day to go out to the beach. I mean, it's the end of the week, so if you want to go out to the beach, to relax and have some fun, this is going to be the perfect weather for you. And of course, it's important to stay as hydrated as possible. Then as we take a look towards the ABC Islands, we can see that a little bit of color is around. So if you guys are lucky, you'll get some rain. I know it's been very dry in this area here. Down to northern South America, the Guyanas, not going to be so active either. So a little bit of a dry spell is going to be around. And let's now go ahead and talk a little bit more about that expected tropical system in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to be looking at what the models are forecasting, and we're kickstarting with the GFS model. So this is the American model, and the map may be a little crazy, but the different green shadings that we're seeing indicate the moisture, the precipitation rate. Meanwhile, those black squiggly lines you see, they are the isobars, lines joining areas of equal pressure. And what we're looking for is those isobars being concentrated in a circular manner. And when you see that red value decreasing, that is a sign of intensification as well. So let's see, there we have the time frame up there for Wednesday, the 25th of September. By that time, GFS shows that airflow pressure loitering just around the northern Yucatan, and we can see all that moisture associated. As we're going to be heading into the end of the week, going to late Friday, there's going to be a frontal system coming out, and that is going to open up the doors for this system to make a turn to the north or northeast and make its way out. So as a result, this the GFS is showing here that this system could possibly make landfall in Florida as a hurricane. So we're seeing that the red value is maybe a little bit difficult for you to see with those other red shadings around, but it's at 972 millibars, and previously it was at 999. So it's definitely intensified up to that point is what GFS is forecasting. Let's go on to the others. We have the Euro model showing that by Sunday the 29th of September, so not tomorrow Sunday, but the following Sunday, this system could be a hurricane at the time of landfall as well, showing something a bit similar here with the system headed towards the Florida Panhandle. And we also see lots of moisture around in parts of the Caribbean. As we head to Friday the 27th, next Friday, the Canadian model is showing more of a broad low pressure area here associated with this, but we see a pressure of 980 millibars. That's likely hurricane intensity as well. So there we have the trends of a hurricane, even though we are seeing a bit of variation in terms of where it could go. And we're honestly going to keep seeing that over the course of the next coming days, because nothing is solid just yet. That airflow pressure hasn't yet formed, so nothing is really solid. The Icon model has this thing moving around quite slowly, has a frontal system making its way out, and this is next Saturday, the 28th of September. So this one I find quite interesting. We'll see how it goes, and we see the Icon showing a pretty low pressure here, 964 millibars. So we could potentially have a major hurricane in the Gulf as per the Icon model, but we'll have to wait and see what the trends are, what the environment is, how quickly that front comes out. There is so much that's going to determine what happens with this future system. But one thing we see consistent among all models is, one, it's going to head into the Gulf, but number two, it could become a hurricane. And we know how the story goes with these systems. And by the way, this is not going to be the only system to watch. We'll have to keep our eyes off Africa, because models have been hinting at the area as well, potentially seeing some things approaching the Caribbean, maybe some strong tropical waves, tropical storms. We'll see how that goes, but nothing is solid just yet. However, that's the reason I'm here, to keep you guys posted on a day-to-day basis. So that's essentially what I wanted to share with you in this update video this morning, and I trust and hope you found it to be informative. But if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll respond to you as soon as I get the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.